It really is a helpless feeling, isn't it? Sitting across from someone you really, really love, seeing them struggle, and knowing exactly how to help them, but they just won't let you. I thought that being a good friend or being a good partner means that you are a fixer. I thought that was my duty. If I were to care about you, I would observe your life, pinpoint the problem, and hand you the solution. Easy, right? But when people didn't take my advice or didn't necessarily listen to what I had to say, I would get frustrated. I would take it personally. I would think, I know what's best here. Why can't you see it too? But I was completely missing the point. I wasn't actually seeing the person in front of me. I was seeing their potential. It took a very, very painful experience for me to learn a concept that pretty much rewired how I view relationships. And is this: brace yourself, okay? Brace yourself. Someone can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. Say that again with me. Someone can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. Let me give you a real example that I went through. Remember when I said that there was a really painful experience? Well, it really was. I had a friend who was in a very toxic relationship, not life-threatening or anything, but it was slowly eroding who they really were. And I tried everything. Let me fucking tell you, I tried everything. I tried the gentle approach, the tough love. I shared even my own experiences, thinking that maybe it's gonna change something. I gave them every logical reason to leave, anything that they needed. I gave them on a silver platter, everything, but nothing worked. They kept going back again and again and again. And here is the really messy and very, very hard part, very complex part of loving someone who is not ready to change. It starts to slowly break your heart. Like truly break your heart, and it will eat at you. It will start draining you, because I know it drained me, and yeah, it broke my heart. The whole situation began to heavily impact our friendship. And you know, the weird thing is that I didn't necessarily stop loving them, you know, because you don't stop. They're your friend, you know, they're someone close to you. You don't just stop loving them. That's just not how it works. One thing that I got to realize is that I had to accept them. I had to accept that my solutions were for a path that they just weren't ready to walk yet. To preserve myself in a way, because it was getting to me a lot, I had to step back. And that hurt deeply. We grew distant for a year, and honestly, that distance felt awful. I thought about them a lot and hoping that they're okay. It really felt like I was abandoning a friend, but I reached the limit of anything that I could do. And it makes me choke up a bit, actually, even talking about it right now. Because it makes me choke up, even though it has a happy ending. Yeah, it does. We reconnected after a year, and it was great because they left the toxic relationship, which is great, and they met someone who was really kind and nice and genuine. But watching them having to go through that taught me something really, really, it's a hard pill to swallow about human connection in general and about human behavior. People operate based on what happened to them in the past, their current level of healing, and their internal triggers. When someone rejects your help, it is rarely about you, because it wasn't about me either. Because growth requires looking inward, and for some reason in that specific moment, looking inward is just too terrifying. You cannot force someone to accept a boundary they haven't set yet or ready to set. You cannot drag someone to a depth they have not explored within their own mind. As much as you want, you cannot. When we treat people like projects, even without wanting to, even having our best intentions in mind, we are setting expectations that strip them of their autonomy. We are basically asking a tree, an apple tree, to grow oranges, and when it doesn't, you just get mad at the tree. So is it a bad thing to want to help people better themselves? No. You can do your duty as a friend As a lover, as a partner, as whatever, you can do your duty. You can share your perspective with love and care for them. But embrace yourself. Once you've done that, you have to release the outcome. I know. Harder said than done. But that has to happen. We need to accept the people at the emotional level that they're at, but not in a condescending way. Like, this is not, I'm better than you and you're no. With genuine grace. Give them grace. If they're a good friend, if they're someone that you deeply care about, give them grace. You look at how they act, their decisions, you assess how it makes you feel, and then decide what boundaries you need to put in place to protect yourself. Because sometimes people do take dangerous decisions, or maybe decisions that harm you as well. And we're not talking about extremes, by the way. I would like to put that out. We're not talking about extremes here. We do not talk about the worst of the worst, okay? We're talking about the most usual suspects that you usually have. But always remember to be kind, not only to yourself, but to whoever you're talking to as well. And I know, it's very hard. Sometimes you just want to, like put a little bit of tough love in there. I know. And you can, but always be respectful. You can say your piece and be direct, but you need to stay respectful. Once you fully grasp this whole concept, I promise you, interpersonal relationships will get 10 times better. A massive weight will lift off your shoulders. You basically stop taking other people's timelines personally. You realize that stepping back isn't necessarily failing them. It's kind of like giving them the space to meet themselves. And I know it is easier said than done, but when I tell you, once you release the outcome, you say your piece and you know that you said it, and then whatever happens after is out of your control. And it takes practice. It's slowly but surely, but it takes practice. And it will not happen overnight. And you will sometimes, you will not necessarily do things like you would want to. And that's fine. That's completely fine. We're all human at the end of the day. But always remember that they're your friend. And you have the best intentions at heart for them. Okay? I would love to know if you guys ever had anything similar happening to you, or if you ever dealt with something similar. Let's talk about it in the comments. Take care of yourselves. Thank you very much for joining. I'll see you in the next one, okay? Bye!